Okay, today in lesson 31, we are talking about pairs of lines and also angles. So this is kind of the first time that we've talked about anything geometry related at all. Geometry is pretty fun. It's kind of mixed in, thrown in randomly. We don't have like necessarily a geometry unit. So this is the first time that we have any geometry lessons in this book, and I'm super excited about it. So it is pretty short, so it shouldn't take us super long to get through it, which will leave you more time for your written practice at the end of class. Okay, a couple of reminders. When two straight lines are drawn on the same flat surface, first of all, a flat surface is considered like two-dimensional. Okay, it's like a piece of paper or something. It doesn't have any depth or dimension to it other than it's just flat. Okay, so like if you were to draw it on your whiteboards, that's just a two-dimensional representation of some lines. Okay, they either cross at some point or they will never cross. Okay, lines that never cross each other are called parallel lines. Okay, they can be drawn any direction, but they will never ever cross. Railroad tracks never cross unless it's like changing to a different track, right? Okay, so a lot of times when people tell you about parallel lines, they like to give you that visual of railroad tracks. They stay side by side. Okay, they're never going to like, boop, like one side is never going to cross with the other side. You know what I mean?
Pencil.
Okay, so here, right here in the middle, whoops, these are all examples of my parallel lines. Okay, but I have lines that can cross. They can intersect, and there are two types of intersecting lines. One is called perpendicular, the other is oblique. Yes?
You could compare it to train tracks, or you could compare it to the sidelines of a ladder.
Yeah.
They don't cross.
That's right. So he is explaining like the sides of a ladder like this. The sides never cross. So those are parallel too. And the rungs on a ladder, all of the parts in between, are also parallel. So good imagery there. Okay, lines that cross are called intersecting lines. There are different types. There are perpendicular. Perpendicular lines are going to form squared corners or right angles. Okay, a right angle or a square corner is represented by this little bitty square in the corner of your intersecting lines. If you see that, that means they are considered perpendicular. Can y'all say that with me?
Perpendicular.
Good. Okay, but the other two types of lines that intersect, if they are not perpendicular, then they are considered oblique. Okay, they are creating sets of acute and obtuse angles. Okay, so you've got your obtuse angle here. Across from it is another obtuse angle. They match. And then you have an acute angle here, and across you have another acute angle that matches. Okay, if I were to put like a mirror right here between these intersecting lines and fold it, it would fold right on top of itself. Okay, I could also do it this way and fold it this way. Again, it would land right on top of itself. This is just another example over here of oblique lines. So looking at this, I don't want anybody to blurt out. I want you to write your answer on your whiteboard or a sheet of paper. That doesn't mean start talking, guys. Just very quietly get your whiteboard out or a sheet of paper. Which of the following figures does not appear to contain perpendicular segments? Remember, perpendicular lines are created and they create a right angle. So you're going to see that little squish. It's going to create that little square in one of the corners. So you're telling me right now on your whiteboard which one does not appear to be perpendicular. Okay, I saw a couple of different answers, but I mostly saw this. Okay, please remember perpendicular lines are going to create a right angle. So does everybody see this little box in the corner? This little box in the corner?
Yes.
And this little box in the corner?
Yes.
That is showing me that that angle is perfectly square. Perpendicular lines create a right angle when they crisscross. Okay? Oblique lines, if I were to extend this line this way and this line this way, Okay, you can see that they are not a perfect square now in the corners. So option C should be the correct answer for this one. They do not create perpendicular, or they don't contain perpendicular segments. Are there any questions on why it's C versus any of the others? You're looking for that square in the corner. If it has a square, it's perpendicular. If it does not, then it means it's oblique. Okay, here's another. We're talking about angles. Okay, so the different types of angles. When lines or segments intersect, it's creating an angle. Okay, so an angle is basically just an opening between intersecting lines, rays, or segments. First, let's review that. What's a segment? What's a line segment?
It's a piece of a line.
It is a piece of a line because it has a start and a finish. Okay, what's a ray?
A piece of a line that stops at one point and then goes on forever at the other.
Yeah, it's part of a line that has like a beginning point or ending point. It goes on forever in one direction. Perfect. You're showing it to me on your whiteboard. Okay, and then you have a line which goes on forever in both directions. Okay, so we name angles based on the size of the opening. Okay, the way I always remembered acute versus obtuse is my teacher, when I was in elementary school, said acute angles are a cute little angle. They're just a cute little guy. Okay, so they're little. They're not going to be real open. So when you talk about acute, you've got this right here. Okay, a right angle is a perfect square. If I were to draw a little box in the corner, it would make a perfect square. Right angles are 90-degree angles. Obtuse angles are really big angles. They go past 90 degrees. It opens up, it gets wider. And the last type of angle that we're talking about today is a straight angle. Okay, totally straight. Which of these angles looks like a right angle? Do it on your whiteboard. Don't blurt out. Show me on your whiteboard. Which one looks like a right angle? Good. Good. Okay, you guys are showing me answer B, which is correct. If I were to draw a little box in the corner, it's going to make a perfect square just like this. Mine is not perfect, but if I could draw a perfect square, it would be perfect. Okay, I want y'all to write on your whiteboards and tell me which one of these angles is an obtuse angle. Obtuse angle. Then write both. Good eye. Good. Good. Yes. Okay, you guys are showing me A and D. Yes, those are both obtuse. They are wider than a right angle. Okay, and then the last one, raise your hand if you can tell me, or write on your whiteboard. What type of angle is answer choice C? Write on your whiteboard and show me. Good. Good. Beautiful. Yes. Very good. Yes. Yes. What? It is an acute angle.
It's actually a right angle.
Is it though? Look at it. Has to be a perfect square. It would not be a perfect square. Let me see if I can actually draw a square real quick.
Figure out like which ones are obtuse. You said I asked if they're obtuse and you said good eye. That means I got good eyes. No, it means good eyes. That means I eat carrots.
So here is
That means I eat my carrots.
here's a square. I don't know if I can rotate it. I was gonna try and I don't know if I can rotate it. Ooh, I don't think I can. Okay, but can y'all tell just by looking at that square, if I were to like turn it, it is slightly smaller than a right angle. It comes in just a little bit. I can't get that to twist to show you guys, but that is an acute angle right there. It is not right. Okay, it has to be a perfect square. Okay, are there any questions about just types of angles, or what angles are, or lines, intersecting lines, parallel lines? Okay, yes?
On our practice, are we gonna have to like write how many degrees is this?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, right now we're just identifying types of angles and lines. Okay.
I ain't gonna do well.
So for your assignment today, you're doing the written practice 1 through 30. It starts on page 212, goes to 214, and numbers 2 and 4 ask you to write an equation. So for numbers 2 and 4, you need to have an equation. You have the rest of class. We've got 35 minutes to get this done, which is more than enough time if you use your time wisely. You guys may start as soon as I pass out your papers.